Welcome friends, fellow meat enthusiasts, to the Steak Wolf channel. We're always trying to up our meat cutting and cooking game and sharing our findings with you. We're always trying to save you a buck and help you improve upon your methods. Today I picked up a couple of half boneless pork loins for $1.99 a pound. You could find that most places. It is a little on the low end. I intentionally sought out the rib end, where you see this kind of two-tone color, whereas the other side is your center cut chop. And I'm going to do two different things with the two different types of pork chop. So I really like a nice thick rib chop, or ribeye chop as it's marketed. You see how you have that cap piece there? That is way more flavorful to me than the center cut piece. So I like doing some nice thick grilling chops. Any kind of pork chop recipe is good with them. I'd say about there, I'd start calling it a center cut, no longer a ribeye chop. So I'm going to put this aside and we're going to do something else with it. I'll take my second loin and do the same thing. And at the end, it's really tapered here. So I may just use that as a scrap for dogs, even though it looks pretty tasty. They're going to like that. Maybe one more. Yeah, I'd say that about does it. So we're actually going to grill a few of these up right now. Let's get a little salt, pepper, and garlic on. Let's try out these rib chops. Once they're at 145, they're good. Pork is pretty forgiving. Those are some juicy looking chops there. Those are going to be delicious. Give it a shot. That is fantastic. That right there is why I like the ribeye chop better than the center cut chop. Got the unseasoned dog pork chops. Come here, guys. Sit. All right. Everybody's good. Good dogs. Good dogs. It's a good boy. So those boneless ribeye chops are delicious. That's not to say that a center cut isn't good enough to do that. Some people actually prefer it. Me personally, no. So I thought we'd do something a little bit different with it. We're going to make some pork schnitzel. And you could do that a couple of different ways. We have a cuber we're going to run it through today. You don't have to do it that way. Some people cut a chop and just pound it with a mallet. That works too. Or you could just do a nice thin slice and, right into egg wash, breading, and flour as we're going to do today. So I'm going to start by taking the heavy fat off and maybe skinning any silver I see off. There's all kinds of good schnitzel recipes and sauces out there, all with wacky German names. Today we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to use lemon. Let the breading and the pork speak for itself. So you're just trying to take off as little as possible. You really don't even have to take this off if you don't want, but I think for the best experience it does make a little bit of a difference. I'd call that good enough. Same thing with our second piece. Take off the heavy fat first. It makes it easier to remove that silver. Get it started just using the tip of your knife. Once you got it started, grab hold. Be very careful. If you're not confident in your own knife skills or control, don't be afraid to take a little more off. I'd rather take a little bit more of the pork off than, a piece of your hand or something. Sharp knife is key. If you don't have a good set of kitchen knives, these butcher knives actually aren't overly expensive when you consider how long they last and how easy they are to maintain as long as you don't abuse them. All right, I think we're there. So if you got a really small tapered piece like this here, I'd recommend butterflying it. And the way you do that is really simple. You cut the thickness you want, but don't go all the way through. Fold it open, do it again, and now you have twice the diameter that we could drop through our cuber. So it's still a little thin here. I'm just going to keep on with that technique for now. So it's going to make some nice pork cutlets there. This one here, a little bit bigger, I think we could get away with just slicing it straight through. I'm going to make some space here. Got a captive audience as always. Hey, get out of here, you freeloaders. I usually like to run it through 2 or 3 times depending on the piece of meat. If you guys are interested in this tabletop cuber or those butcher knives, I will provide a link in the description below. That just makes a really nice looking cutlet. No, Val, get. No. She's new at this. He's got some experience. So every culture has their own word for cutlet or their own dish. The Germans, obviously, schnitzel, so we're going in that style today. Italians make a pretty good pork cutlet, veal cutlet, called scallopini. When they do it with beef, they call it verjol. When the Germans do it with beef, they call it rouladen. Got one a little thick here, and you can always adjust if you need to as you go. When the Spanish do it with beef, they call it palomilla. So really any thin slice, beef, pork, veal, chicken, this technique or this method will work. They do sell big industrial cubers, but the parts are expensive. They break. I think you have to have a special electricity hookup. And honestly, it's faster than this if you're doing some kind of volume. But we're breezing right through this for even projects like this. Even if we're gonna make a bunch for the freezer or something, I think it's all you need. There we are. So I've got some all-purpose flour, our pork cutlets, and our salt, pepper, and garlic. I'm just going to add a little bit of this into the flour, not a whole lot. Just kind of get a little pattern in there, mix it around. And we're going to start. Yeah. Whoops. All right, so we got our first one floured. And we're going to flour them all up all at once. And then we'll one by one egg wash them bread, egg wash them bread. All right, got all our cutlets breaded up. I'm going to bring out the egg wash. Got the thin pork cubed, tenderized, breaded with flour. Now it's going into some eggs we whisked up. Then we're going to go into some breadcrumbs. They're ready to go. Forgot to mention we were cooking these on the Blackstone. First time I had ever done that. It actually worked out really nice because you had that big surface area rather than doing a couple in a pan and removing and repeating and worrying about changing your oil and all that. One shot on the Blackstone actually makes it really worthwhile. This was a good year for us. We had a once in a lifetime opportunity and took a trip to Germany. I'd highly recommend it. It was a great trip and maybe inspired a little bit of what we did here. But it all comes back to maximizing what you put your money into as far as your piece of meat to make your dollar go further and to really make it enjoyable. The ribeye chop was excellent. We're about to try some German inspired schnitzel here. All we did was put a little bit of lemon on it. There is a lot of good sauces you could use, a lot of different traditional sauces you could use, but I think just a little bit of lemon and it's going to let the pork and the breading speak for itself. So let's try it out. Right away, it's got the kind of crunch I'm looking for. Looks good. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Give that a shot. It is worth it. Well, guys, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to see what we're up to next. Thanks a lot for watching.